So that's us recording now. And just in case, because I'm so fabulous at this technology stuff, I'm going to record the audio on my phone as well, I think.
You've
So,
got to try, do it your best.
yeah. Okay. So, we know why we're here. We're here to talk
Yep,
about your aunt and the book she's released regarding
yep,
her apparent time at 25 Cromwell Street as a lodger.
yep.
Um, I've already set out a few questions, but is there anything that you'd like to start with?
I just want to obviously thank yourself for all the effort that you put in, not just for my mum, but all for the rest of the victims and their families too, and everybody else who's taking note of what we're actually. Hold on a minute, Nikki.
Is Nikki joining
Um,
us?
he is joining. He's just eating his tea. He's only just got in, so he's just quickly eating his tea, and then he's jumping on.
Okie dokie. Okay, so the book, which I think it's probably a good idea not to name outright because I'm not sure about the legalities around that, but people are going to
Right.
know what the book's called and they're going to know what it's about. They're going to know who wrote the book,
Yeah,
obviously. Um, but that the author is your aunt, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. She's
she,
my mum's sister.
your mum's sister. And in the book, she claims to have lived at 25 Cromwell Street for 18 months.
That's what she'd said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with the first question now. How
Okay.
did you come to learn that you had lived at 25 Cromwell Street as a
It
baby?
was it was when what do you want me to explain it in full?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so when they started to find the first bodies on Cromwell Street, I was living at number 29 with my uncle.
yeah,
Uh, Obviously, we seen the reporters outside. Well, at first it was the police that we started to see outside from the little bed sits that we was living in.
yeah,
Next thing, the reporters started to come onto TV, and then it was at that point my mum phoned me up from Derby and said,
yeah.
"Michael, is everything all right?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" She said, "Do you know we used to live there?" And then that's how I found out that we actually lived in that house. I wasn't aware of it until that point because she had no reason to tell me, no reason to mention anything up until that point.
hmm how did you feel when she told you?
I was only young. I was a teenager. You know, I,
Suppose there's
I was
quite a
like,
bit of
wow. I
excitement
was
around.
shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was shocked, but it was not fun because a lot of people had sadly lost their lives, but it was interesting, should I say,
yeah, it's not
to
something
know.
everyone
Yeah,
experiences.
I don't really want to turn around and say it was fun because it wasn't, but
No.
I was more shocked that we used to live in the house.
Yeah. And you lived at number 29 with your uncle, didn't you? Your mum's
Yeah,
brother.
my mum's brother. Yeah.
Yeah. And your uncle was talking to a reporter. Do you want to tell us about that?
Okay. Yeah. So do you want me? I've not read the book,
Okay,
but I have heard in the book. I don't know how true this is, but I have been told that in the book. Do you want me to say what's in the book and then I can explain the real truth?
sure. Yeah.
Yep. So in the book, it's supposed to say that my uncle, my uncle Robert had contacted her
hmm
and said to her that, you used to live in the house. Is that correct? I think it's along them lines. That wasn't true at all. I was only 17. My uncle was a little bit older than me. We used to like having a few cans of beer, and we just used to get up to mischief that we wasn't supposed to get up to, basically.
Yeah.
So when we seen the reporters outside, and my uncle turned around and says, "Come on, we'll go down and speak to him." So we went down, we spoke to him, and my uncle explained to one of the reporters that he could give them a good story. And the reporter said, "What's that?" And he said that but my sister Bernie used to live in the house.
hmm
So it was at that point that they contacted my mum and then put us onto Central Weekend for living there. So where she says in the book that my uncle Robert had contacted her, that definitely never happened because I was there. I don't remember anything about living in the house when I was younger, obviously, because I was a baby.
Yeah.
But things like that, when the reporters was there, I do remember, and it was definitely my uncle that contacted. It was definitely my uncle that told the reporters. Reporters contacted my mum, not what she's making out in the book.
Well, dates are actually quite important in this situation because your aunt who wrote the book claims to have moved in the autumn of 1977.
Right.
And that would make you a few months old then?
Yeah, I was only a baby.
Yeah. And your mum, however, on Central Weekend was asked outright by the interviewer how long she'd lived there, and she said it was 6 to 8 weeks over the winter of 97, 98. And she didn't mention your aunt at all. And she didn't really say a lot because am I right in saying that your mum didn't really have a lot to say about the time she was there?
Yeah, it was. I think you said 97, 98, but it was
Oh, sorry,
77.
77,
Yeah, it's all
78.
right. No,
Yeah.
no, it's all right. It's all right. No, it was 77, 78.
Mm,
And my mum, like, she never witnessed anything that went bad in the house. She never seen anything.
hmm
So she could there wasn't really much she could actually say when she was having the interview on Central Weekend.
And
So
she's a very well, she was a very private person. She sadly died last year, didn't she?
yeah, she did,
And
yeah.
that's why this situation is all the harder because she can't put the record straight herself, which is why that's why you're doing it for her. Um,
Yeah. Mm. My, growing up, she was asked quite a bit, like a lot of the people that was lodgers in the house. She was asked quite a bit if she wanted to do stories, if she wanted to write books
yeah,
and things like that. But she was like, I'm not interested.
yeah,
And she never did because she didn't believe in wanting to make money on such sad occasion, if you get what I mean.
yeah,
Like all the
yeah,
victims that lost their life, why would she want to make money for it? So she never ever bothered saying anything. She just left it.
yeah,
And we was all like, "Go on, mum, make a few quid." Do you know what I mean? That's we was pushing her to it, and she's like, "No,
yeah,
I'm not doing it." So
yeah.
she never ever did. Then when she passed away, I was told by a relative that my auntie, you know what? I'll name her Kathleen. I don't care. So
Okay.
my auntie Kathleen had made a book. She'd wrote a book. She waited for my mum to pass away. She waited for my nan to pass away, uh, so that nobody could say to her, "You're full of crap," basically.
Yeah,
And then next thing, she's obviously released a book to make money, and she's put her name and her face to my mum's story to make out she was the one that was living in the house to try and earn money from it. My mum
yeah,
never ever wanted to earn money. My mum never wanted to say
hmm
anything.
yeah,
So what gives her the right
yeah.
to put my mum's story out there is just not acceptable.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. And we're not going to really speak about your mum very much because she wanted to stay private. So she should be allowed to do that, even though she's not here.
Yeah,
But one last thing, what do you think that she would think of Kathleen releasing this book?
she'd be disgusted. Straight out, she would be absolutely disgusted. She would be like, I am now. She'd be like the rest of my siblings are. Some of Kathleen's other sisters, she would be like them. Just we're not shocked because we know what Kathleen is. There's other things that Kathleen's done that I won't go into to the family over the past, my nan, things like that. But I won't go into that.
No,
But
no.
Kathleen is she rotten egg. No
There's
easy.
something a bit
I can't swear.
strange. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely something a
she's
bit
a rotten egg.
strange. Okay, and I know that you and Nikki have felt compelled to speak out about this, but how has that
Yeah.
worked within your family's dynamics?
Um, they all agree, don't they, with what we're doing? Every one of them agree with what we're doing, apart from Kathleen's closer side of the family. Although they have said to us, we know she's lying,
Yeah.
but you know, they're close to her.
hmm
They're obviously upset with the situation, what's going on, and in a way, I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But they have to understand that this is our mother, who
hmm
never wanted a story to be put all around the world.
Yeah.
And we feel as though we've got to put it straight now so that
hmm
people are aware that, because I've seen people feeling sorry for her, people
She's done the
wanting to give her
media rounds.
sympathy. She's definitely done it, and
Yeah.
people are giving her sympathy. And I'm like, she doesn't need sympathy.
Yeah.
she's my brother's. I don't know whether you heard that. My
I
brother's
did
just
hear
actually
it.
said she needs a slap in the face. That's what he's just actually said. Not that he's
I
going to do that, but yeah,
I actually think that I feel quite sorry for her because having seen the evidence that I have, I'm in no
yeah,
doubt, and I've spoke to people in the know. I have no doubt
mm,
that she didn't live there.
yeah.
I feel quite sorry that she would have felt the need to do this. I mean, I'm hoping more that it's just selfishness and wanting to get rich from it, but
That's
it's
all it is.
more
It's money.
concerning that there are mental health issues going on there that have made her think it's
Um,
okay.
I don't want to put this down to mental health because I don't know whether she has got mental health
Yeah.
issues or whether she hasn't. So I'll try and keep away from that. But what I will say is that she's doing it, in my opinion, and the rest of our family's opinion.
Hmm.
She's doing it purely for money. She's doing it for greed,
Hmm.
and she's trying to defraud the public into buy her books for more money to be putting in her pocket.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, the marketing of the book was very heavily towards this is about Cromwell Street. There is
Yeah,
a huge amount of the book actually that is about her life before Cromwell Street and some
yeah,
of her life after, but it was marketed because they knew that would draw people in, you
yeah,
know. Um,
yeah,
and I find that quite, well, I find that challenging to sit with because that's quite sneaky. It's quite
yeah.
manipulative. And I'm sure it won't have been Kathleen that's come up with that idea. But, and this brings me to my next question. Both of us and Nikki have tried very hard to either contact the publishers, the media, respond to
Mm.
videos of interviews for Kathleen on
Yeah.
social media, and nobody's responded in the slightest. Why do you think that is?
I think you've emailed the publishers as well, haven't you? Did they reply to you? No. So Nicky's email also emailed the publishers and they never replied to him. But maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I'll just say it in anyway. I think personally it's because you can earn more money from a lie than what you can from the truth. So we're trying to get the truth out there. Yet nobody seems to want to know. No big national newspapers want to take the story. No my big programs want to take the story, but they all want to take her story, which we've proven is not correct. But
Well,
they don't seem to be interested.
as we've spoken about before, the papers who are promoting the book and Kathleen's interviews are the
Yeah,
same, they are the same papers who in the archives have column inches of her as a trial witness saying that she
crazy, isn't
was,
it?
yeah, the same papers aren't looking at their information, or they are and they're just not doing anything about it. But they are the same ones, and pretty much this is what it says. Sister of a lodger. So
Yeah,
Kathleen Ryan, sister of the lodger Bernadette Ryan, visited the house. And that's a far cry away from 18 months as a lodger with uh all of the things that she says happens in that time by Fred, by Rose, and for me, most importantly, with help from Shirley Robinson, who anybody close to the story will know, Shirley was an 18-year-old pregnant girl who was murdered, and her baby
yeah,
was murdered and buried in the garden. And in the book, Kathleen kind of accuses Shirley of setting her up with Rose in the living room to try and coerce her into sexual things. And um, that's for me, that's a really difficult thing to just
yeah.
ignore. And I would have thought other people
Mm.
wouldn't want to ignore it as well.
Is that what she said in the book?
Yeah,
Wrong. It is horrible, isn't it? Because she was never
yeah,
there. So how she can just
yeah,
how she could just say that and just
hmm,
just make up that about people who sadly lost their life
yeah.
is just shocking, and she does have problems.
Well, Shirley Robinson, I have been speaking to a few people, and I know that Shirley moved in the April to June of 77,
Yeah.
and she was last seen mid-May 78.
Okay.
Your aunt wrote in the book, was the kind of like the prologue, one of the first things she does is describes turning up at 25 Cromwell Street, and she describes the scene there. And when I read the book first, that immediately to me just screamed incorrect. Um, she talks about a heavily pregnant girl. If they arrived in the November of 1977, Shirley Robinson was only confirmed pregnant in the October as 6 weeks pregnant. So
So she
she would
wouldn't have
have
even shown.
been, no, she wouldn't have, you know. And another thing that your aunt doesn't seem to know is that she's describing things that were happening with Shirley, like the amount of time Shirley stopped Fred from molesting her and things like that. Well, conveniently, your mum is said to have been back in Derby with you.
Yeah.
Um, and as horrible as the descriptions of what she said happen are, Shirley actually had moved out for a short time in the spring. Shirley had actually left in the March. I know that she was back by the April at some point, but she'd actually gone to live with a friend in Gloucester or in Bristol. And your aunt doesn't know that, well, she can't do because she describes things that happened.
Oh. So
And
Shirley wasn't there at the time me and my mum was there.
no, she was because
Right.
you were there
Right.
from over the winter. But by the
Right.
time spring came around, Shirley had actually left for a little while to stay with a friend. She did return, and
Right.
when she returned, I think in the week or a few weeks before that she died, was murdered, she'd actually slept in the top floor with another tenant, Liz Brewer now, Elizabeth Brewer now, but she was Liz Parry at the time. And so, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't
So
for the fact that we've seen in black and white, there are just so many other inconsistencies. The descriptions are just off. And if you
yeah.
know the stories, if you know the information, if you've researched it as much as I know a lot of people have, it's quite easy to see. But you just wouldn't think that somebody would make something like that up.
No, but if she didn't make up the lies, she wouldn't be selling as many copies as what she's selling. She wouldn't
Mm,
be earning as much as what she's earning, and
mm.
that's the reason why she's done it. I this
Yeah,
I'm not gonna I would really love to sit here and sugarcoat it, but I can't.
no,
What she's doing to our family, not just myself and my siblings, to other like her own
mm,
sisters.
yeah,
What she's doing to some of them, what she's doing to the victims' families who sadly lost their lives.
yeah,
It's all wrong, and she's going round promoting this book, making out to everybody to feel sorry for her, when really she's a criminal and herself in all of this.
yeah. And
And
you've been to the
it
police, haven't
needs
you?
stopping. I went to the police. I explained it
Yeah.
all to the police, and the police said it's a civil matter. And I said, look, but what she's doing is she's obtaining money by deception, by telling everybody that this is a true account of what actually happened to her.
Hmm.
She's receiving money for it.
Hmm.
It's not true. Surely this is a deception matter.
Hmm.
And they turned around and they said it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter. So there's not really much we can do about it.
Which I find quite strange because she was a trial witness. She swore an oath to tell the truth. And
Mm,
she, if so, from the beginning, we said it's either perjury or it's lies.
yeah.
In court, she said one thing, but is it the case that she had this whole book's worth of incidents that actually detailed events that were to do with one of the victims and could have helped further towards prosecuting Rose? Did she withhold that? And
Well,
or is she
if she
lying now? And I
withholded
would think
that,
that's a police issue.
if she withholded that, then that needs looking into, doesn't it?
It
That
does, but I think that's like 0.1% a chance because there are too many other things like uh, tenants that lived there have no idea who she was. And she even writes in the book herself that somebody who was a lodger approached her quite angrily after she'd given evidence at the trial, saying, "Who are you? You didn't live there. I would have known ya." So,
Well,
yeah, somebody noticed then,
and
and I wonder whether maybe that's why she didn't do anything big then.
what? And that was said in a book, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I wouldn't know. I've not read the book, but I think people who are interested in true crime stories, I've had lots of different messages off people all saying the same thing. She's full of it.
yeah.
Where's she getting all these stories from?
Hmm.
And I think everybody realizes, but now I just think it's time that, you know, I will say a little bit. I don't really want to speak about my mum too much,
Okay.
but I will say a little something. My mum was always very, very open with us,
Yeah.
and she loved us, she adored us. I'm not saying her life growing up was fantastic because it wasn't, but she loved every one of her kids. And when it come out that, you know, over the years that me and my mum lived there, my mum used to sit there and she used to talk to us about it and tell us little bits and bobs. Not much, it wasn't really one of them. What my mum would have said, she never would have took the mickey out of my auntie Kathleen. That's something she never would have done. She certainly didn't agree in with abuse, sexual abuse, or anything like that. So she wouldn't have took the mickey, but she would have turned around in conversation and said to us, "Yeah, Fred and Rose did do that
Hmm.
to Kathleen."
Hmm.
That was never ever said. And like I said, my mum would have told us, not laughing, not joking. She would never have had anybody say the wrong thing about it, but she would have told us in a conversation that something like that did happen to your auntie, and she never said it. And that's why I know, and the rest of my family members, my siblings know,
Hmm.
she's just full of crap.
Well, and the other siblings of your aunt and your sister, obviously they lived together. They know that she didn't go and live somewhere else for 18 months.
She never she it was a long one. The reason why my mum had to leave, she obviously she'd left Ireland. She'd come to stay in Gloucester. She'd come with me. I can't say whether Kathleen come with her on that day and moved into not moved in, went and seen Fred's house together.
Yeah,
That is something I can't say.
no, we
I was
wouldn't
too
be able
young
to
to know
know.
that. Uh, I know the reasons why my mum had to leave. I know the reasons why my mum turned up on Fred's door. She,
We don't need to go into that. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
we know that it's not what is in the book.
no, definitely not in the book.
Yeah. And whilst we can't prove that she didn't go and visit the house with your mum, she may well have
Mm,
done.
mm,
Your mum, even just conversationally, when she phoned you to say, "Oh, me and you lived there when you were a baby," would have
yeah,
said, "Me, your auntie Kathleen, and you lived there when you were a
yeah,
baby." But it was
mm.
just never, it was never a thing.
Never mentioned.
Yeah.
No, never mentioned. Never mentioned on a TV program. Never mentioned in previous, in old newspaper articles. Never mentioned in conversations later on. The first we knew that Kathleen allegedly lived there was when I was told she's writing a book, and I thought, oh yeah, a few quid here, and it's hurting us lot as children, knowing that she's running round, basically putting herself as my mum, telling my mum's story around everywhere. Whoever will listen to my mum's story, and she's getting paid for it. Now, we wouldn't, as kids, we wouldn't do it. What gives her? She never even turned up at my mum's funeral. She made out. I know she's made out in the book that she was at my mum's side when my mum passed away. My mum and her hadn't spoken for years. Um, sh- she's just
I think she says that she heard about your mum's health issues and she went straight to Derby to go and see her.
even Nikki's laughing at that one. Even Nikki's laughing. My mum couldn't stand her. Uh, due to what she'd previously done in the family
Yeah.
many years ago. I won't say because I
Yeah.
can't. We all know it's true, but we can't prove it.
Yeah.
Um, but not a lot of family members could tolerate her.
And she mentioned, so in the book, one of the things that really stands out is the treatment from your grandparents towards her and her siblings. What would you say to that?
I wasn't there. So all I can talk about is my grandparents as I was older.
Yeah.
Uh, my granddad loved him to bits. I was close to him before he passed away.
Mhm.
Um, he was strict, but he was fair. I
Yeah.
can't really say anything else about him.
Yeah.
My nan, I know I lived with my nan when I was younger. I was at my nan's funeral when my nan passed away, so I
Mhm.
can't really say anything bad about her either.
And Kathleen
Um,
wasn't there at the funeral for your nan, was
so
she?
for my nan, no,
Kathleen,
she
no.
did she didn't show no.
Yeah.
So
So she does
uh,
mention about your nan's passing too in the book, and I know that we've spoken about it before. I think I'd showed you the page, and
right,
that you said that was all incorrect as well.
I can't remember what was it again that she said. Do you know roughly?
Oh, yeah, I can get it up. Okay. Sorry, just got to get on my Kindle.
So it's all right. No, don't worry. It's fine. It's fine.
So I know it's right near the end. It talks about your mum, who in the book is actually called Deirdre, that she wasn't at
Yeah,
the wedding, and that your mum had suffered a seizure, and she was being treated in hospital, and her daughter and she drove to Derby to visit her, and they were shocked by her appearance in the hospital bed. And
that must have been in her dreams because she certainly didn't turn up at the hospital.
I don't. Okay, in February this year, my mother passed away, aged 91, following a burst aneurysm in her stomach. I went to see her in the
I think
Chapel
it
of
was February.
Rest
I think. Yeah,
and
sorry,
had
I'm
a
just
long
talking
chat
to my
with her.
kids. Yeah.
So she says that she went to see her in the Chapel of Rest and that she had a long chat with her. And she said, "Thank you for being the best mum you could be. And thank you for saving my life at Cromwell Street. I'll never ever forget that. I owe you one, mum." Before I left, I bought a necklace with her fingerprint inside it and I've worn it ever since. Thanks to the necklace, I feel like my mother is close to me. So,
Um, I can't say whether she turned up at the chapel arrest, whether she's got a necklace around her neck. That I don't know. Uh, she
but
did pass
given,
away.
sorry,
Pass
given
away
the
for
other things,
Yeah.
you
She
know,
did pass away from an aneurysm. Uh, all of my mum had 10. I mean, sorry, my nan had 10 children. Sadly, two of them had passed away, so eight of them could have turned up at the funeral.
yeah,
Kathleen wasn't there; she didn't turn up.
yeah,
So only seven of my nan's children turned up at the funeral. She
yeah.
wasn't there, just like she wasn't at my mother's.
Mhm.
And of course, she had many, many grandchildren that was also there as well. But Kathleen, no care in the world. She's making out she's this person who was abused here and abused there. The only one that's abusing people is her. And that's all I can say.
We've
She's
got 5 minutes
she's bad.
left on the timer. Um,
Okay.
I wanted to ask, what safeguards do you think could be put in place to prevent this kind of thing happening in future?
I think the publishers need to do more research before they start publishing true life stories. Well, so-called true life stories
Hmm.
when they're not true life. And me and you have had previous discussions before, and we know we've seen evidence that
And it
she
wasn't hard to
wasn't.
find.
No, we've seen evidence that she wasn't living in the house.
Yeah.
Uh, so if, like I say, publishers should really, really look into things like this before
Hmm.
publishing it, and not only hurting us as a family, hurting all the victims' family too, by resurfing this back again and putting it out there when there was really no need for it, other
Yeah.
than she's probably skint and needs a few quid.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
what do you want to see happen now?
I don't know whether you'd really want me to say this on here, but it won't be nice.
All right, one
Shall I say
second.
it?
Yeah, go for
I,
it.
I want I want people to look at her and think that's that vile woman that tried to make money from dead people, spit at her and carry on walking. I don't want to I don't want to see her go to prison or anything like that, because I have cousins. She has children. I have cousins who I do speak to, I do love. I'm not going to say I don't, but her as a person, I couldn't care less about her. Do you know,
Yeah.
she's a vile, horrible, sick woman that's trying to make money out of my mother, and that I can't allow.
You laid on to rest 18 months.
Yeah,
Just bring it on.
like Nikki's just said, at the end of the day, we laid our mum to rest 18 months ago, and now she's just bringing it all back up again. And
Yeah.
it's not something that my mum would have wanted. It's not fair.
Well, actually, it was 2 months ago that the book was released and she did the first media rounds then.
Mm,
And I thought it had gone quiet and I thought just nobody cared. But
mm,
then we noticed that she's doing it again.
yeah, she's like just sticking two fingers up to the whole system, thinking she can get away with everything, and
Mm,
she's running around telling her lies to anybody who will listen.
hmm.
And you know, she needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how, or even if it's possible. But somebody's got to take note of what she's doing and think, no, hang on a minute. The records are easily obtainable. Let's look at the records. Let's see for herself. This woman is full of rubbish.
Or
Let's
she
put a
committed
stop to.
perjury
Or she committed perjury. If she
Yeah.
either committed perjury and lied in court under
in the
oath.
biggest court case I think that we've had ever in
Yeah,
this country.
yeah. So she either committed perjury, lied under oath in court on
Mhm.
Rose's trial,
Withheld
or
evidence.
and yeah, by saying that she didn't live there, because
Mhm.
she clearly said in the trial was that she went and seen her sister who was a lodger.
Mhm.
Uh, and now, so many years later, 40 years later, or 30 years later, in her book that she's making money from, it says that she lived there for 18 months. So
Yeah,
either she's lying in her book or she's lying in the trial. She's lying in one of them.
well, actually, that's quite an interesting point because in the book, she describes given evidence and she
Yeah.
says that she was asked if she was a lodger and she quietly said, yes, I was.
Oh, right.
So she's wrote that into the book that she's written in the book is different to the evidence that she gave in the trial.
Yeah. Mm.
So and there's just too many things, aren't there, that is iffy. And
Yeah.
there are still, to this day, people who attended that trial, journalists who attended that trial, who are still making books and still going on documentaries about about the situation. They must know.
They do
They
know.
were
So why
there.
isn't anybody standing up and saying, hang on a minute, this woman is full of crap?
Hmm.
Somebody can put a stop to this. But like I've said, it seems to be that they're selling the lies, and the lies are making far a lot of money
Hmm.
than what the truth would make. So they're not interested in the truth. They just want to stick with the lies.
The thing is,
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
when all this happened, Mum and Kathleen was actually speaking.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
where was the phone call between Mum and Kathleen saying, "Oh, look, bloody hell, Bernie, we had a lucky escape there, didn't we?"
There's nothing like that because
It didn't happen.
yeah, like my brother's just been saying, when back in '94 when this was all coming out, my mum
Hmm.
and Kathleen was actually speaking.
Hmm.
Kathleen never once phoned up my mum and said, "Bloody hell, Bernie, we had a lucky escape there," because Kathleen never had a lucky escape.
Hmm. And
It
I'm a
was,
sister. That is what you would do,
of
even if you
course,
don't like each other very much, which is
of course, and I'm running away from Dublin after you're saying you was abused by this person, abused by that person. I'm moving to a house where you're
Mhm.
getting abused even more. You
Mhm.
wouldn't stick around for 18 months. You've just ran off from Dublin from a load of abuse.
You left your home country.
Yeah, get abused again. You'd run off again, wouldn't you? You wouldn't stick around and think, oh, I like this couple. They can abuse me. I'll stay here for 18 months.
She
You'd
does
get up and
claim
you'd
that
go.
she ran to the police station and things like that, but she didn't have the courage to go in because who would believe her? It's all very convenient, to be quite honest. And I'd be the last person to question a victim, but the evidence says otherwise.
Yeah.
And not to say that your aunt wasn't a victim. I'm sure that she is because communication, behavior is communication.
Mm.
She is trying to communicate something here.
Yeah. Something definitely happened to her, probably as a child growing up in Dublin.
Yeah,
It never happened to her in Cromwell Street.
yeah,
And it never happened to my mum in Cromwell Street either, because my mum would have told us. She
yeah.
was always open, she was always honest. We
Mhm.
know what her background was growing up in Ireland. We know what happened.
Mhm.
She never ever once said she was abused, molested, assaulted by Fred and Rose West, ever.
Yeah. And Actually, the police didn't contact your mum straight away. It wasn't until they saw, I think it was either a news article or it was the Central Weekend footage, and that's when they contacted her. And she didn't have anything to offer, so there was no need for her to go to trial. But who
No,
contacted Kathleen? Or did she
No,
contact them?
I must have, because I can specifically remember the police coming to Mum's from Gloucester, and they never mentioned Kathleen once.
right. So what Nikki's saying is obviously when the police come to my mum's, I was still living on Cromwell Street in Gloucester.
Yeah,
So it was the Gloucester police that drove from Gloucester down to Derby to come
yeah.
and speak to my mum.
Mhm.
And Nikki can remember them turning up to speak to my mum, but Kathleen wasn't mentioned once.
Yeah.
So I don't know how she ended up being in the trial,
Mm.
how her name was mentioned in the trial, but I can definitely say her name wasn't mentioned by my Uncle Robert,
Hmm.
like she says it was in the book. It
Hmm.
was only mentioned when they said, because I was there, and they said, and Robert said to him, "I'll give you a story." Oh,
Hmm.
we wanted a few quid. I'm not going to lie. That's what we wanted. I was 17 years old.
Hmm. Well, your
Um,
Uncle Robert was a labourer for Fred, right?
he used to do bits and bobs for Fred. Yes, yeah, he used to do that. He'd do anything just to get himself his few cans and a bit of a drink at night time,
Yeah.
and that's the sort of lad. That's the sort of lad he was.
Yeah, but at the time,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have known the priority on the case, would he?
No, no,
When it was that big, he just police were digging up a garden.
yeah, and
He
that
wouldn't
was
have
it.
known that it was that bad, that
Mm,
serious.
mm. It she's full of it, and I'm just praying, like a lot of people, that eventually the right person says, "Hang on a minute, let me look into this a little bit more. Let's
Hmm.
see what we can make of it,"
Hmm.
and a stop is put to all the lies and accusations.
Well, there is
Because
another book that is at the minute said to be a true story that is turning out not to be a true story, and I don't really know the ins and outs of that very much. But it's been in the papers a lot lately, so this is not very far away from that. You know,
really, what another one, another Fred and Rose.
another supposed true story that it's turning out to be not such a true story. A very successful book, 3 books, I think.
Wow, so they're all in it for a few quid.
I think the publishers have got a lot to answer for. There needs to be
It
some
it,
due
it needs stopping.
diligence.
It needs
Yeah.
stopping because everybody who's purchased that book, as some bloke described it to me the other day when he found out that it wasn't true. So what you're telling me is that I bought a blind rabbit,
Hmm.
and I says, unfortunately, yeah, you've that's what you've done. And he was absolutely disgusted. So I can imagine everybody else who's bought the book thinking they're reading a true crime story is feeling the exact same as what he did in his White Rabbit.
Yeah. Blind rabbit.
Blind rabbit, yes. Mm.
You didn't see me
Sorry,
earlier on getting you back.
blind rabbit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
Michael, we'll wrap up here because it's nearly finished. But thank you very much for
Okay.
talking to me.
Very,
Hi,
very welcome.
Nikki. Hope your dinner was
Hiya.
nice.
Oh, you've not ate it yet.
No, he's not at it yet. He's left.
Oh,
He's left it for a minute. Yeah, but no. Thanks for everything. And like I say, we can put a stop to what she's doing if people can just check. It's there for
yeah,
everybody to see that
it
what she's
is.
put in that book is a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
Thanks ever
Thank
so
you,
much.
Michael. I'll speak to you
Take
again
care.
soon. Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye bye. Bye bye.